I hate this show with all my guts. Good day, ladies and gents, my name is Hyozo and welcome to DiscussThing. And believe it or not, I sat down today and watched the first 3 episodes of season 2 of The Rings of Power with an open mind. I know I've said a lot of things about the show, I've tweeted a lot of things about the show, I had almost non-existing expectations about the show, and I sat down today with a clear head. I wanted to just remove everything that connected this show to lore, to the storyline, to the source material. I wanted to try to look at it from an absolute newbie perspective without any expectations about lore accuracy, respect for the lore, because if I hadn't done that, then I'd probably break my screen during the first 10 minutes of the first episodes. So I did that. I sat down, clear of mind, as I said, and I wanted to see just exactly what $1 billion can do after season 1. And how can I put this? It's horrible. First of all, it's so boring. It's absolutely a bore fest filled to the brim with the sense of nothingness. It's a shell without any content inside it. I've written several small notes which I'm going to read now to you because I've just finished watching them 20 minutes ago and I already have troubles remembering what happened there. So I scribbled down some thoughts while watching them, and I'm just gonna read episode 1 first. Nothing's happening. Halbrand gets turned into a pincushion. Then Halbrand Tessaro eats some people as a slime. Nothing's happening. Galadriel chasing Elrond. Elrond jumps. Rings are used. Gil-galad is an obnoxious cunt. Galadriel looks like she has not taken a shit in 5 years. That's it. That's all I could get from watching episode 1. And this is hard because the overbearing motion, like the overbearing feeling of watching these 3 episodes is that I spent 3 hours looking at a blank screen. There is nothing remotely interesting happening, not even something shocking or even something to induce anger as an emotion. And I know that a lot of people are probably going to be, but what about the lore? But what about all the perversions from the lore? Yeah, the whole 3 episodes are such a perversion of the lore in all of their entirety that if I sat down to talk about all the things they did wrong, I would probably spend 2 days doing just that. So I'm not going to do that because we already know from season 1, from everything that we've seen, from promotional materials, from every trailer, from every snippet, that they don't intend to keep up with the lore. They don't intend to honor Tolkien's work. They don't intend to do anything remotely respectful to the source material. All they're trying to do is pervert it and try to get people to like that perverted version, and somehow with an amazing superhuman mental gymnastics to like and say that this is actually in line with Tolkien's vision. So Sauron being an actual slime and eating people like some sort of a freaky alien from some sci-fi video game from 10 years ago. That's what Sauron is doing right now. And it's not even consistent because at one point he has so much power and so many abilities, and at the other point, he just lets himself be absolutely destroyed from beatings, from insults, from everything. And if you try to even pin down that this is all part of his master plan, everything that he does is something that would put his plan into danger and make it more complicated. It's not smart to do that. It's just convoluted and unnecessarily complicated to do that. And he doesn't even do it smartly. He does so many stupid things in the first half of the first episode alone that is just, how can he be this mastermind, this lord of darkness, this Morgoth's right hand creature?
He is no man.
And be so stupid, because what you don't see is him being in control all the time. He's just like winging it out and throughout. He constantly gets surprised. He constantly, something happens that is not in his plan, and he's acting like he's absolutely powerless to stop it. And the things that happen make no fucking sense, because first of all, he's not human. His corporeal form is just for show, and to be able to have that level of damage done to him by a bunch of orcs and people is just idiotic. And if you're worried about spoilers, you've already seen it and read all of it. Trust me, they revealed these things much earlier than when they released the episodes. And the second episode, again, nothing's happening. An angry dwarf woman is screaming at a mountain, and she doesn't hear a mountain. I forgot her name. I actually forgot her name. The black dwarf, the first black female dwarf, she screams at the mountain, and the mountain like part of the mountain crumbles. That's it. That's all that happened. And you see Beauty Sauron, the romance Sauron, that he's going to snuggle with Celebrimbor, and we find out that Durin is an actual crybaby. Like, nothing interesting happened. They didn't, like, they had several fight scenes that they started and they showed nothing. They had one or two skirmishes and they showed nothing of them. They were so painfully short that you couldn't even find any speck of enjoyment from some choreography or cinematography or some special effects or some fight scenes or some even techniques that someone will use with a sword or with a bow or whatever. So painfully short. And I'm not even talking about the totally not Gandalf and Nori. I think she was called Nori. Their little trip to the desert, they're joined by a surprise guest, I guess. They get chased around. He does some stuff. Then he doesn't do some stuff. He's always looked like he's some deranged mental patient who got snuck out from a mental facility in that rope, and he always walks like that. They exchange some absolute idiotic lines between them. Nothing sounds even remotely original, or when they try really hard for it to sound original, it's so stupid that it sounds so weird coming out of it. I think the actors realize that it's going to sound weird, so they look weird saying those words. And then the third episode, and we see our favorite black elf appear. And by the way, a little insert there are a lot more black elves in this season than previously. You see them all around, no matter, they're everywhere. In the third episode, something started to appear to happen, like some sort of a small battle, and again it was cut short. And then we get to the most boring coronation / usurpation of power in existence. This is so predictable, so absolutely idiotic, that I could have thought that when I was absolutely drunk, shit-faced, and I was 14, probably. Nothing is I think that they started writing scripts for all these different scenes, and they just cut them halfway through, discarded them, and then someone else took them and stitched them together with the new version of scenes, and they tried to actually make it work like that. It's completely idiotic. I'm currently struggling to remember something else from the episodes. Again, I just finished watching them 25 or 30 minutes ago, and I already have no memory of what's happening. This has been an absolute bore fest. I actually started recording myself to see if I can use some of the footage as a reaction, and I only had one reaction throughout the whole of the series, and this is it. I literally sat like this for an hour and a half before I just changed hands. Once again, nothing interesting happened, and I don't want to get into the lore breaking stuff or how it deviates from the lore, because we already know that they're gonna do it. As I mentioned earlier, we know that they're not gonna listen, they're not gonna do what they told us to do, they're not more lore accurate. They have several snippets of actual close to the lore things that were inserted there, like scenes, like actions that they do in certain scenarios. However, every single one of them is so overlapped with absolute bullshit that it makes no difference. It makes absolutely no sense and no difference to do that. It was like a forced insert on the side of the show. For instance, when Anatar shows, they actually tried to do some sort of lore accurate entrance, even though it's a bit, it's very much diminished, but all the things that happened before and after that completely bury that entrance to the ground, and you just feel nothing from it. You can't even get happy that they inserted one semi lore accurate scene in the episode. Now, it wouldn't be fair of me to not mention that if I liked something, and I did like two things from those 3 episodes. The only 2 things that actually had my interest just a bit. First of all was the look and the look of the orcs. That's it. Like, they looked okay, like prosthetics, makeup, they looked like from the trilogy, very close to it, very menacing. They looked amazingly. What I didn't like about the orcs is that now apparently they're caring parents. Yeah, that happened. They have babies, they have wives, they have families, they care for each other, they just want to be safe, they don't want to go to war. Pretty neat, huh? It's not like they were twisted elves in the past and they were bred just for war and specifically to obey commands of their lord and master, and they thrive on war, on making other races suffer, and they absolutely relish in the fact to just corrupt and destroy, as is their nature. But no, now they have babies and they're caring parents. Isn't that nice? They're just misunderstood. They're not bad. They're just misunderstood. They're looking for their place under the sun or under the clouds because they cannot exit the sun, or they couldn't when they were lore accurate. And the other thing that I liked was the scenery. Like whenever you've shown some nature scenery, some mountains, some landscape, the shots were good. That's it. Those were visually pleasing, but none of these things holds any sort of merit because it's again buried by tons and tons of reductant protoplasm that is this show. Nothing can survive under the sheer stench of what this show is. It's the most boring thing you can watch. This is the only thing that I can think of as a description. Boring, 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 boring. How is this show worth $1 billion? How is this show getting a second season? And how is this show so boring, provided all the trailers and all the promotional materials from even the last few days, with all the locations in the world that Darkness is coming? They have CGI orcs and trolls on various important locations in a lot of countries. Like, the promotional materials were actually top tier. Like, they were going all out on everything. Like, I seen literally tens of clips in a day just with promotional materials all around the world. Like, a lot of money were spent on those materials, and for what? For a snooze fest. I can get more enjoyment watching a marathon of The Room, Dragon Ball Evolution, The Last Airbender, and Borderlands. And I'll just chip in The Watch as a bonus. I would get more enjoyment watching these things than Rings of Power. This is not how you open a season. A season opener episode should at least be filled with action, with drama, with a fast-paced development, with a lot of exposition, with all the important things that need to get you hooked, as even if you're a newbie. And it didn't. Had this, I might just be like, okay, this is an abhorrent representation of Tolkien lore, but at least it's they can visually provide some form of entertainment. No, they didn't do that even. Oh my god, there's still weeks of that left. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Please like, share and subscribe it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment. If you enjoy all my other content, take a look at them on my channel. Follow me on my socials, follow me on my Patreon, where I'm trying to raise money for homeless animals and animals in shelters. Do stick around for the other episodes and my streaming, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers and stay fresh.